The ball slammed against the clay court like a gunshot, my racket vibrating in my grip as I twisted midair, every muscle screaming for that perfect lob. Sweat stung my eyes, blurring the baseline, but I could still make out the figure crashing through the chain-link fence. Jake, my best friend since freshman year, his face twisted not in his usual cocky grin but in something raw, desperate, like he'd just run from a fire. "Alex," he bellowed, voice cracking over the empty court's echo. "I can't do this anymore. Pretend like nothing's changed." I froze, racket dangling from my fingers, the world tilting as his words hung in the humid July air of our sleepy Ohio suburb. We'd been unbreakable. Two kids from the same dead-end street, trading comic books under porch lights and dreaming of escaping to the big leagues. Him for football glory, me for tennis scholarships that never quite panned out. But that afternoon, with the sun dipping low over the rusted bleachers of Elmwood High's forgotten courts, Jake's eyes, those damn hazel eyes I'd stolen glances at for years, locked on mine with a hunger that shattered every lie we'd built between us. He stumbled forward, cleats crunching gravel, his Letterman jacket slung over one shoulder like a shield he no longer needed. "You heard me," he gasped. Close enough now that I could smell the faint tang of his cologne mixed with the chlorine from the community pool where he'd been lifeguarding all summer. "Last night, at the party, I saw you with that guy from the city, and it hit me, man, like a freight train." His chest heaved, and for the first time I saw the cracks in his all-American armor. The straight-A jock who'd dated half the cheer squad, the guy who'd fist-bumped me through every heartbreak without ever questioning why mine felt heavier. I dropped the racket entirely, the thud swallowed by the distant hum of lawnmowers and kids' laughter from the park across the street. My heart jackhammered against my ribs, a betrayal of its own. We'd never talked about it. Me being gay, him being the straight arrow who made my stomach flip every time he slung an arm around my shoulders after a game. "Jake, what the hell are you?" But he cut me off, grabbing my forearm, his grip iron but trembling, pulling me into the shadow of the equipment shed where the air grew thick with the scent of damp earth and unspoken truths. That was the spark, the one that ignited everything we'd buried under layers of bro code and denial. Jake Harlan and I had grown up in Willow Creek, Ohio, a postcard town of white picket fences and Friday night lights where secrets festered like weeds in cracked sidewalks. I was Alex Rivera, son of a Mexican-American mechanic who fixed trucks at the GM plant and a nurse mom who worked doubles to keep us afloat. Tennis was my ticket out. Started smacking a ball against the garage door at 8, dreaming of Wimbledon's grass while Dad blasted Springsteen from the shop radio. By high school, I was varsity captain, scouting colleges with posters of Federer taped above my bed like saints. Jake was the golden boy next door, broad-shouldered and easy-laughing, with a quarterback arm that had scouts buzzing since Pee-wee. His folks were the picture of Midwest normalcy. Dad a realtor selling McMansions to upwardly mobile families, Mom baking pies for church socials. We met in 3rd grade over a shared hatred of multiplication tables, bonded over backyard forts and stolen sips of his dad's beer by 14. He was my constant, the one who dragged me to bonfires when my crushes on teammates turned my world upside down, who never pried when I dodged questions about girls. But lately, cracks had spiderwebbed through our foundation. Senior year loomed like a storm cloud. College apps piled on my desk, his football offers stacking up from schools in the Big Ten. And then there was the party last weekend, the one at Tyler's Lake House, where booze flowed freer than the Ohio River and inhibitions dissolved like sugar in sweet tea. I'd gone with a vague hope of blowing off steam, ended up in a shadowed corner with Ryan, a transfer from Cleveland who'd transferred his hand to my knee under the guise of just talking. It was nothing, a brush of lips that tasted like cheap vodka and possibility, but Jake had seen. From across the room, his beer bottle paused mid-sip, eyes narrowing in a way that made my blood run cold. Now, here he was, unraveling on a court that had been our sanctuary since we were kids. "I kissed Sarah last night," he blurted, releasing my arm like it burned. Tried to make it feel right, like always, but all I could think about was you. The way you look when you're serving, like you're owning the whole damn world. His voice dropped, raw as an open wound. "Am I losing my mind, Alex? Or is this us?" The question hung between us, heavier than the humidity clinging to our skin. I wanted to bolt, to laugh it off as post-party haze, but his gaze pinned me, vulnerable in a way I'd never seen. Not the cocky grin after a touchdown, not the shrug when his parents fought over tuition bills. This was Jake stripped bare, the boy who'd punched a bully for calling me a slur in middle school, now admitting the line we'd towed for years had blurred into oblivion. I swallowed hard, tasting salt. Jake, you're straight. You always have been. It's confusion. The alcohol, the pressure. But even as I said it, my traitorous heart leaped at the what if, the forbidden spark that had flickered in stolen moments. His hand lingering on my back during a hug, the way he'd cheer louder for my matches than his own games. He shook his head, stepping closer until our breaths mingled. Screw straight. I've dated every girl who looked my way, chased the playbook like it's gospel. But it's you, Alex. It's always been you making my chest tight, my head spin. His fingers brushed my jaw, tentative, electric, a touch that sent fire racing through my veins. For a heartbeat, the world narrowed to that point of contact. The court fading, Willow Creek's judgments dissolving into the dusk. Then headlights pierced the gloom. His mom's minivan pulling into the lot, horn blaring like a warning shot. Jake Harlan, get in here. Dinner's cold. Reality crashed back, sharp as a fault line. He jerked away, color draining from his face, but not before I saw the plea in his eyes. Don't let this end here. As he jogged off, waving a half-hearted thumbs up, I sank onto the bench, racket forgotten, the weight of his confession settling like autumn leaves. That night, staring at my ceiling fan's lazy spin, I replayed it all. The hook of his voice, the tremor in his touch. We'd rewritten the rules in seconds, but what came next? Betrayal? Bliss? Or the slow unraveling of the only bond that had ever felt like home? The days blurred into a tense limbo. Practice became my escape, the rhythmic thwack of ball on strings a metronome against the chaos in my head. Jake texted sporadically. Memes about bad refs, links to highlight reels, but no mention of the shed. The touch. I told myself it was a fluke, buried it under college essays and shifts at the diner, slinging burgers to kids who eyed me like I was yesterday's news. But Willow Creek had a way of pressing in, its small-town pulse quickening with gossip. By midweek, whispers slithered through the halls. Jake and Sarah, homecoming courtset couple, spotted making out at the drive-in. My stomach knotted at the sighting, a petty ache I drowned in Gatorade during doubles with the team. Rivera, focus, coach barked as my serve sailed wide. How could I, when every crack of the baseline echoed his voice? Friday brought reckoning. Halftime at the home game, our Tigers up by 10 against Rewrote. Jake found me in the equipment tent, lacing my sneakers for moral support. The air hummed with crowd roar, but inside, it was still charged. Alex, he started. Helmet tucked under his arm, grass stains smearing his pads. About the other day. Don't. I stood, taller than him for once in the dim light. Saw the pics online. You and Sarah. Looked real cozy. His jaw clenched, a muscle ticking. It was nothing. Crowd pleaser. Dad's on me about settling down before scouts see me as a flake. He raked a hand through his sweat-damp hair. But it's bullshit. I can't stop thinking. The whistle blew, shrill as a siren. Teammates hollered his name. He hesitated, then gripped my shoulder, thumb pressing a bruise into my collarbone. After the game, meet me at the creek. Please. I nodded, throat tight, as he vanished into the fray. The second half dragged, my cheers mechanical, eyes tracking his runs like a hawk. He scored twice, the crowd erupting, but when he glanced my way, spiking the ball into the end zone, it was for me. A silent vow amid the madness. Post-game, under a sky bruised purple, I slipped away to Blackwood Creek, our old haunt where willows dipped like conspirators over the water. Moonlight silvered the banks, fireflies winking like hesitant stars. Jake arrived breathless, jersey untucked, carrying a six-pack swiped from his fridge. Toasted the win, he said, cracking one for each of us. We sat on the mossy log, legs dangling, the current murmuring secrets. Talk, I said finally, foam bitter on my tongue. He exhaled, long and shaky. I'm scared, man, of what this means. Folks expect grandkids, a ring, the whole picket fence lie. But kissing Sarah felt like choking on ash. His knee bumped mine, deliberate. With you, it's air. Easy. Like coming home. My pulse thrummed, a confession bubbling up. I've loved you since we were 14, Jake. Watched you date. Cheered from the sidelines, hating myself for it. You're my straight friend. The one I can't have. Not straight, he whispered, turning to face me. Not anymore. And then, slow as dawn, he leaned in, lips brushing mine. Soft, tentative, tasting of victory and fear. Fireworks burst behind my eyelids. Not from the distant town fireworks, but from us. Finally colliding. We pulled apart, foreheads touching, breath sinking. What now? I murmured. Together, he said. Fierce. We'll figure it. But Willow Creek doesn't yield easy. As we walked back, arms brushing, I glimpsed headlights in the rear view of a passing truck. Sarah's brother, eyes narrowing. The first thread of our tapestry, already fraying. Summer's end crept in like a thief, stealing lazy afternoons and leaving behind the crisp bite of fall syllabi. Jake and I navigated our new normal with the caution of kids playing with matches. Stolen kisses in the bed of his truck parked at the quarry's edge. Hands intertwined under diner booths while we split fries and dodged mom's knowing glances. It felt like a dream, fragile and feverish. Every touch a rebellion against the town's invisible fences. College loomed larger now, his Ohio State offer glowing like a beacon. Mine a shaky community college scholarship that chained me to Willow Creek for 2 more years. We'll make it work, he'd murmur against my neck during late-night drives. Radio crooning Bon Jovi as cornfields blurred by. Weekends, breaks. I'll fight for us. His optimism was infectious. A balm on the anxiety gnawing my gut. For the first time, I let myself believe in more than survival. But secrets in small towns are like dry tinder. One spark, and the blaze consumes all. It started innocently enough. A group hike up Hocking Hills, the gang from high school, Tyler, Becca, Sarah, and her shadow of friends, trailing the gorge's rim under October's amber canopy. Jake and I lagged behind, fingers brushing accidentally, as we navigated routes. My laugh too quick at his dumb jokes. Sarah noticed, her ponytail swinging like a pendulum as she shot me a side eye over her water bottle. You two are weirdly close lately, she quipped, voice syrupy but edged. Like bromance on steroids. Jake draped an arm around my shoulders, casual as ever. Jealous, babe? Alex is family. But the word babe landed wrong. A placeholder we'd agreed to maintain for cover. Sarah's smile tightened, and later, as we roasted marshmallows by the fire pit, she cornered me while Jake fetched wood. What's your game, Rivera? He dumps me for real this time, and suddenly you're his shadow. I poked the flames, sparks rising like accusations. No game, just friends. Friends don't look at each other like that. Her eyes, sharp as flint, dared me to deny it. Hurt him and I'll bury you. The threat lingered, a chill whined through the leaves. That night, in the tense nylon hush, Jake pulled me close, his whispers fierce against my ear. Ignore her. She's lashing out. Lost prom queen status when I called it off. But doubt seated, tiny and insidious. Was I stealing him? Or had he always been mine, waiting for the courage to claim it? November brought Thanksgiving, a minefield of family gatherings and forced cheer. My folks hosted Mom's tamales steaming beside Dad's turkey, the table groaning under pecan pies and stories of Tio's latest escapades in Chicago. Jake arrived with his signature pie, charm dialed up, but under the table, his boot nudged mine, a secret Morse code. Pass the gravy, Alex? He'd say, eyes twinkling with mischief only I caught. His parents eyed us warily. Mr. Harlan's grip on his fork too tight, Mrs. Harlan's questions about future plans, laced with subtext. State's got a great engineering program, Jake. And girls, plenty of nice ones. He mumbled agreements, but his hand found my knee, squeezing reassurance. Later, washing dishes side by side, Mom leaned in, her voice low. "Mijo, that boy's light in your eyes. It's been a while." I froze, sponge dripping, as she wiped a counter that shone. "Be careful. Love's a river. Beautiful, but it floods." Her words haunted me through the holiday haze, amplified when Jake's phone buzzed incessantly. Texts from Sarah, cryptic voicemails I pretended not to notice. "She's just checking in," he'd dismiss. But the screen's glow in dark rooms revealed late-night replies, threads I wasn't privy to. The fracture widened mid-December, snow dusting Willow Creek like powdered sugar on a bitter pill. We'd planned a quiet escape. Cabin rental up in the Hocking Hills, just us, a bottle of Dad's homemade wine, and the crackle of a fireplace to chase winter's bite. But en route, his phone erupted again. "Pull over," he said, voice strained. I eased onto the shoulder, wipers slapping slush, as he answered. Sarah's voice tinny through the speaker. "Jake, we need to talk. Now, it's about Alex." My blood iced. He glanced at me, apologetic, but hung up and dialed her back on private. "What the hell, Sar? We're done." Minutes stretched, his face paling, words muffled. "You told who? Mom? Jesus." He slammed the console, eyes wild when he hung up. She blabbed. "To my parents. About us. Suspicions, the party, everything." Panic clawed my throat. "What now?" "Dinner. At home. They want to discuss." His laugh was hollow, like it's a business merger gone south. I drove him back in silence, snowflakes thickening the veil between us. Dropped him at the curb, his kiss goodbye frantic, tasting of farewell. "I'll call. We fight this together." But the call never came. Days bled into a week, radio silence pierced only by a single text. "Need space. Sorry." My world tilted, text to Tyler yielding shrugs. "He's locked down, man." Family drama. Mom's worried glances, Dad's gruff chin up, "Son." They buffered, but the void ached. Christmas Eve. I trudged to the creek, boots crunching hoarfrost, the willow's skeletal sentinels. Sat on our log, now iced over, and hurled rocks into the frozen flow, each splash a curse at the betrayal. Not Jake's, but fate's cruel pivot. Had Sarah's venom poisoned the well? Or had he glimpsed the abyss and retreated, leaving me to drown? New Year's dawned gray, resolutions mocking from TV screens. I threw myself into shifts, the diner's grease a distraction from the hollow in my chest. Then, a Friday night rush, bell jingling as Jake pushed through the door, snow melting in his hair, eyes shadowed but determined. "Booth in the back?" he asked, like no chasm had yawned between us. I nodded, apron twisted in my fists, and slid in opposite him when my brake hit. "Space, huh?" He winced, tracing condensation on his water glass. "It was hell." Mom cried. Dad quoted Bible verses like ammo. Called me confused. A phase. Threatened to pull state if I didn't straighten up. His voice cracked. Sarah fueled it. Twisted stories to make me the villain. But I couldn't. "I missed you, Alex. Every breath." Relief warred with wariness. "And now, fight mode." He slid a crumpled envelope across, his application, amended. "Community college. 2 years with you, then we transfer together. No more long distance." My heart stuttered. "Your folks will come around. Or not. But this," he captured my hand, thumb stroking knuckles. "This is non-negotiable." We lingered until closing, plans spilling like confetti. Road trips to campus visits, summer jobs saving for an apartment in Columbus. Hope flickered, tentative as a match in wind. But betrayal's shadow lengthened. Valentine's approached, Willow Creek decked in hearts and red balloons, a saccharine reminder. Jake planned a surprise. Dinner at the Italian joint downtown, stars wheeling overhead as we drove. Candles flickered on checkered cloths, his toast. To us, rewriting the stars. Drawing a blush I couldn't hide. Yet midway through tiramisu, his phone vibrated. He silenced it, but not before I glimpsed the name. Coach Reynolds. Ignore, he said, but tension coiled his shoulders. Later, in the parking lot, he confessed. Scouts rescinded. Word got out. Rumors about distractions. Dad's furious. Blames me. Guilt twisted like a knife. Because of us? No. His grip tightened on the wheel. Because they can't handle truth. But doubt crept in. A whisper. Was our love a chain, dragging him under? The real storm broke in March. Spring thaw flooding the creek and our fragile peace. Sarah's final gambit. A leaked photo from the quarry. Blurry but damning. Jake's arm around me in silhouette. It hit the school group chat like a bomb. Whispers exploding into shouts. Fag! Scrawled on my locker. Jake's truck keyed with slurs. His parents issued an ultimatum. Choose normalcy or the streets. He chose me. Packed a duffel that night. Showed at my window like Romeo. Eyes fierce. I'm out. Couch surfing at Tyler's till we sort it. We crashed in my room. Bodies entwined under quilts. His heartbeat a lullaby against my back. We'll build our own world, he vowed. But dawn brought the reckoning, sirens wailing. Not for us, but echoing the chaos we'd unleashed. April showers hammered Willow Creek relentlessly, turning streets to rivers and my resolve to mush. Jake's exile amplified every creak in the house. Mom's sympathetic coffees at dawn, Dad's silent hammer swings in the garage, pounding out frustrations he wouldn't voice. We were pariahs now, the town's queer cautionary tale, jobs drying up as regulars crossed the street. Tyler's couch became our bunker, video games and takeout a thin veil over the siege. Yet in stolen pockets, romance bloomed defiant. Picnics in the hills, wildflowers braided into Jake's hair as he read Whitman aloud. Voice husky with verses on comradeship that felt prophetic. I celebrate myself, and sing it. He'd intone, pulling me close, our laughter echoing off sandstone cliffs. Nights tangled in sleeping bags under star-pricked skies, his fingers tracing constellations on my skin. Orion's belt, a map of our scars. It was raw, real. A love forged in fire that burned brighter for the shadows. But conflict brewed, insidious as groundwater. Jake's restlessness grew. Football dreams deferred chafing like an ill-fit jersey. I need to play, he'd confess during runs along the towpath, breaths puffing in the chill. Not for them, for me. Prove I'm more than this mess. Scouts still circled, whispers of walk-ons at smaller schools. But every call ended in polite regrets, doors slammed by our notoriety. I nodded, masking the fear that our bond, once salvation, was now anchor. We'll find a way, but doubt festered. My community college acceptance letter arrived, sterile as a bandage, while his dreams moldered. The betrayal struck like lightning on a clear day. May Fair, Willow Creek's annual carnival of fried dough and Ferris wheel lies. We'd vowed to skip it, hide in a motel outside town, but Jake insisted, face them, show we're unbreakable. Cotton candy stuck to our fingers as we wandered midway. His hand in my back pocket, a bold claim. Laughter bubbled, tentative, amid the carousel's tinny waltz. Then Sarah materialized, flanked by her clique, red cups sloshing like a prop in her drama. Well, if it isn't the Lovebirds, she sneered, eyes glittering with malice. Enjoying the show? Jake stiffened, but I stepped forward. Let it go, Sarah. We're done hurting. Her laugh was venom. Hurting? You stole him, Alex. My future. Gone because you couldn't keep your hands off. The crowd thickened, murmurs rippling. Jake pulled me back. Enough. Walk away. But she didn't. Leaned in, voice a hiss. Ask him about last week. The talk with Coach. My stomach plummeted. Jake's face drained of color. We retreated to the truck, engine roaring as we peeled out, gravel spitting. What talk? I demanded, voice steel. He gripped the wheel white-knuckled. Recruitment pitch. Junior college in Indiana, full ride, fresh start. No baggage. And I turned it down. For us. But Sarah's barb lingered, festering. That night, in the motel's sagging bed, I pressed. Did you hesitate? His silence was damning. For a second, thought of the field, the roar. Without the bullshit here. Tears pricked my eyes. So I'm the bullshit? No, God, no. He reached, but I recoiled. You're everything. But this town. It's killing us slow. The argument escalated, words weapons. My accusations of resentment, his pleas for understanding. I love you, Alex. But love shouldn't cage. The door slammed behind me at dawn. Rain lashing as I hitchhiked home, soaked to the soul. Reconciliation came haltingly. Apologies over burner phones, tentative meetups at the creek, now swollen with meltwater. I panicked, he admitted, arms around me on the log. Feared losing you to the what-ifs. We vowed deeper, therapy sessions poached from the clinic's sliding scale, journaling prompts that unearthed buried fears. My abandonment ghosts from a childhood of moves, his pressure cooker perfectionism. June sweltered, graduation a bittersweet rite. Caps tossed under stadium lights, speeches droning about futures bright as fireworks. We stood apart in the throng, families divided. Mine clapping proud, his absent, a void punched by dissonant papers served weeks prior. Proud of you, Mijo? Dad whispered, hugging fierce. Jake caught my eye from the bleachers, a nod loaded with promise. Post-ceremony, we fled to the quarry, diving into the cool depths, bodies buoyant with release. Surfacing, gasping, he treaded water, pulling me close. Our diploma, he joked, kissing salt from my lips. To new beginnings. But the universe conspired. A letter arrived, Jake's, postmarked Indiana. Acceptance, retroactive, with a scholarship addendum, unconditional, upon enrollment. His hands shook unfolding it in my kitchen. Mom's arroz con pollo cooling untouched. They fixed it. Coach pulled strings. Said the rumors were overblown. Elation warred with dread. Go. I forced throat tight. You deserve this. And us. His eyes searched mine, pleading. Long distance. We've beaten worse. He nodded, but shadows lingered. Departure loomed. August drive, U-Haul stuffed with dorm essentials and dreams. We packed feverishly, labeling boxes with inside jokes, balls and strikes for sports gear, heartstrings for the guitar he'd strum me to sleep with. Last night, tangled in my sheets, lovemaking tender, a ritual of memorization. Freckles on his chest, the curve of his hip, whispers of forever. Dawn broke cruel, minivan idling curbside. Hugs protracted, tears hot. Call every night, he choked. Love you more than touchdowns. Love you more than aces. I watched taillights fade, Willow Creek swallowing him whole. Separation carved hollows, texts bridged gaps. Photos of campus quad. My tennis drills under floodlights, but miles amplified fissures. His calls grew sporadic, laced with exhaustion. Practices till midnight, study groups with straight-laced teammates who ribbed his hometown habits. Miss you, he'd say, but fatigue dulled the fire. My fall semester ground on, classes blurring into monotony. A new guy, Marcus, lit major with a poet's soul and easy smile, orbited my periphery, coffee runs turning to late-night debates on Kerouac. Innocent, but guilt gnawed. Jake's voice in my ear, distant now. Climax crested in October, homecoming weekend. He drove back, truck rattling with autumn leaves, grin wide as the state line. Reunion was electric. Dinner at our diner, booth scarred with initials, his hand over mine blatant. Missed this, he breathed, kissing knuckles. But at the bonfire, old crew gathered, beers foaming, tension crackled. Tyler clapped his back. Heard you're killing it, bro. That QB from psych class, total smoke show, right? Jake laughed it off, but Sarah's ghost hovered, her absence a taunt. Later, in the truck overlooking town lights, he confessed. Parties get wild. Girls flirt, habit, I guess. Nothing happened, but I think about the ease. No stares, no whispers. My heart fractured. And me? The stairs. You're worth it. But his eyes wavered, a chink in the armor. The betrayal crystallized that night. A voicemail left in haste. Phone forgotten on the dash. Playing accidental. His voice, slurred, laughing with a stranger. Nah, man, I'm straight edge now. Wait, no, straight? Ha! Complicated. Then, softer. Girlfriend back home? Nah, boyfriend. Yeah, you heard right. Laughter. Probing questions. His deflection. Just messing. Pass another. It wasn't infidelity, words, not acts, but the casual dismissal gutted me. Like our love was punchline fodder, armor against the frat boy gauntlet. Confrontation erupted at dawn, coffee cold between us. You outed us as a joke? Alex, no, it was beer talk. Slipped. His plea rang hollow. Slipped? Like your commitment. Tears scalded. Go back to easy, Jake. I won't be your complication. He reached, desperate. Don't, please. This is us against them. Us broke. I shoved him out, door slamming like guillotine. He lingered on the porch, silhouette etched in porch light, until rain drove him away. Silence followed, a void deeper than distance. November stripped Willow Creek bare, trees skeletal as my resolve. Winds howling elegies through empty streets. Jake's texts piled unanswered. Apologies, please, voice memos cracking with sobs. I screwed up. Come visit. Let me fix. But pride armored me. Classes a numb routine. Marcus's invitations a temptation I sidestepped. Love, I'd learned, was a blade double-edged, carving joy and grief in equal measure. Mom noticed first, her tamales now solo portions, conversations veering to healing time. Dad fixed the truck's carburetor unasked, a metaphor unspoken. Rivers bend, Mijo, but they flow on. Evenings, I lace sneakers for midnight runs, pavement pounding out the rhythm of what-ifs. What if we'd stayed platonic? What if he'd chosen the field over me? The turning point slunk in mid-December, a care package arriving COD, his handwriting shaky on the label. Inside, our mixtape on cassette, Springsteen to Hosier, a tennis ball etched with Ace of Hearts, and a letter, pages tear-stained. Alex, I write this in the empty dorm, snow tapping like accusations. You were right. I treated us like a phase, a rebellion against Dad's blueprint. But solitude stripped the lies. Practices mock me without your cheers. Winds taste hollow sans your fist bump. I betrayed us, not with acts but doubt. Feared the world's weight would crush you, so I shouldered alone. Stupid. Arrogant. Remember the creek? That log our confessional? I sat there last visit, hurled your rock back. Watched it skip 7 times. 7 chances I squandered. But love isn't tally. It's persistence. I'm transferring back. Community. With you. No scouts, no glory. Just us, building slow. Forgive me? Not for perfection, but effort. You're my rewrite, Alex. The bond that endures. Jake. The dam broke. Sobs racking as I clutched the paper. Cassette whirring forgotten anthems. Dialed him at 2 a.m. Voice thick. Idiot. Get here for Christmas. Reunion was tentative, airport drive, his duffel light as his step from the terminal. Hug at baggage claim fierce, airport bustle fading to our bubble. Missed you, he murmured into my hair. No kisses yet. Earnest talks over diner pie, dissecting fractures. His internalized shame, my fear of abandonment. Healing unfolded gradual, humanistic in its mess. Spring semester synced us, shared poli-sci lectures, study dates in the library's quiet carols, hands brushing notes. Jake waitressed at the Quarry Cafe, grease monkey shifts with Dad forging unlikely rapport. Engine talk evolving to proud of that boy grunts over beers. His parents' silence thawed to cards, neutral at first, then a hesitant lunch invite, Mom Harlan's pie a white flag. Challenges persisted. Slurs faded but lingered, job hunts scarred by bias. Marcus became friend, not flame. His poetry slams a safe space for our stories. We volunteered at the rec center, coaching kids tennis. Jake's drills infused with encouragement, my serves demonstrating grace under fire. Witnessing him with wide-eyed 10-year-olds, patience incarnate, mended something deep. Proof our love amplified, didn't diminish. Summer crested golden, our apartment a shoebox above the laundromat. peeling paint but ours. First night, unpacking boxes to the sizzle of street fares below. We danced barefoot to the radio, his chin on my shoulder. This, he said, spinning me slow, is the rewrite. Fall brought milestones. Joint transfer apps to Ohio U, acceptance letters twin triumphs. Willow Creek softened, not saintly. Gossip ebbed to tolerance. Sarah's departure for Coastal College a quiet exodus. Jake's first pride flag in our window drew stares, then nods. Dad hung one beside, subtle solidarity. Climax revisited in subtle waves, not tempests, but tides. A scout's call, nostalgic lure to Division II glory. Jake waited aloud one autumn eve, leaves swirling outside our fire escape. Tempting, the roar, the structure. I braced, heart clenching. Go if it calls. Voice steady, though terror clawed. He cupped my face, eyes clear. It doesn't. Not without you courtside. Turned down, chose us, a quiet heroism, the true peak. Yet humanity's hue tinted our happy. Not flawless, but flawed and full. Arguments over dishes, insecurities flaring like summer storms. His over football's ghost. My whispers of unworthiness. But resolutions deepened bonds. Therapy a toolkit. We're a team, he'd affirm. Post-fight coffees steaming with amends. Years layered like sedimentary rock. Grads from Ohio U, caps airborne in Scarlet Sea. His poli-sci thesis on queer rights earning nods. My kinesiology degree paving coaching paths. Apartment upgraded to a craftsman bungalow. Backyard court we built piecemeal. Sweat and swear words. But our sanctuary. Willow Creek evolved too. Pride parades swelling Main Street. Jake's folks at the first, hands tentative on our shoulders. We were wrong, Mr. Harlan admitted over backyard barbecue, voice gruff. Love's love. Mrs. Harlan's hug lingered. Pie plate extended like sacrament. Betrayal scar faded to lesson. Trust not blind, but built brick by vulnerable brick. We mentored at the center. Stories shared in circles. Bonds rewrite, I'd say, Jake's hand in mine. But only if you let them. One July dusk, full circle on that Elmwood court. Rackets in hand, sun dipping low. He served, ball arcing perfect. I returned, rally building to breathless laughter. Game, he teased, netting the winner. Match, I countered, pulling him close. Lips met under chain-link witness, world vast as Ohio sky. What followed wasn't erasure, but evolution. Our bond, once fragile thread, now tapestry rich with warp and weft. In America's heartland sprawl, two boys from picket fence streets proved love's quiet revolution. Not grand gestures, but daily devotions. Dramatic in depths, suspense in uncertainties, emotional in echoes, romantic in reaches, humanistic in its hold. Unbreakable, rewritten, ours. And in the golden hour's embrace, with fireflies igniting like hopes deferred no more, we played on into twilight, into tomorrow.